Today I'm going to talk to you about a candle, a feather, and a wooden spool. Let me just take a minute. I want you to hear those things again. A candle, a feather, and a wooden spoon. Now, some of you might be wondering, why in the world is Joe talking to us about these things? I thought he was going to talk to us about God's holy days, about the feast of the Lord. Well, the truth is, those elements are an important part of a ritual that's done every year in Jewish homes all around the world. Now, before we get to why we use those, let me talk to you about this holy day in general. God said for 7 days the Jewish people were to eat only bread without leaven. Why? Remember, Judaism is very symbolic. When God talks about the holy days, he said that they were elements, they were symbols of things that were to come. So a lot of times we see symbols hidden within these feasts. Now, leaven always represents sin in the Bible. And God said there's to be no leaven in the camps, no leaven in the villages. There can be none among you. God was so serious about not having sin that he said it can't be found anywhere among you. Well, to that end, to continue in the celebration, Jewish people all over the world have a ceremony they do. And that involves the candle, the feather, and the wooden spoon. They purge their home of all leaven. They empty their toaster, all the little crumbs that collect at the bottom of the spoon, trays, all of the leaven that you find that maybe fell behind the sofa. They go through and do an entire spring cleaning. They get rid of everything. They can have no leaven in their home. But then the mother plants these 10 pieces of bread throughout the home. And the father goes around with a candle, with a feather, and a wooden spoon. And every time he finds a piece of leaven, he can't touch it with his hands because it will become unclean. So he takes the feather, and he takes a spoon, and he kind of scoops it onto it. And then they put it into a bag, they burn it, and they throw it out. And the whole point of doing that is they want to get rid of every bit of leaven that's in the house. You see, a lot of times, we as Christians, we ask ourselves, how do these feasts apply to me? What do they have to say to me? Are they still relevant? Well, think about this. The actual matzah, the bread that's used, there's 3 attributes to the bread. And if you look at it very closely, you'll notice that all of the breads, they have these burn marks, which are called the bruises of the bread. They have stripes throughout the bread, and they have all of these piercings. Now, who does that sound like to you? In Isaiah 53, he says it over and over again, that he was bruised for our iniquities. By his stripes we are healed. Zechariah said, they will look upon me, the one whom they have pierced. And the rabbis mandated that the unleavened bread, which has no sin, has to have bruises, stripes, and piercings. I don't know about you, but that sounds like Jesus to me. And that's why, again, it is so important that we move from just understanding the holidays, but come to understand God's holy days. And you'll realize that God's not finished with them. They still apply to us today.